Urgen is not just a tiny speck on the map of South America, hidden among the vast continental expanses. This small but extraordinarily vibrant corner of the continent holds many amazing stories and cultural features that often remain beyond the attention of most travelers. Many assume that this place is merely dense tropical jungles inhabited by crocodiles and wild animals hiding under thick foliage. However, the reality is much richer and more multifaceted. In fact, Urgen is a unique cultural blend where indigenous people, Africans, Indians, and Dutch live side by side, creating an extraordinary mix of traditions, customs, and rituals that is hard to find anywhere else in the world. What seems simple at first glance in this place turns into a true cultural cocktail, filled with aromas, sounds, and images that reflect the rich heritage of this country. The history of Urgen is full of mysteries and secrets that still intrigue researchers, historians, and travelers from around the world. Every street, every building here is a living testament to the past, telling of a time when this land was under various colonial influences, and how it managed to preserve its uniqueness despite numerous trials. For example, in the capital city, Paramaribo, one can hear a mix of languages that includes not only Spanish and Portuguese, but also Dutch, English, and local dialects. It is a true kaleidoscope of voices and sounds, creating a special atmosphere that captivates and attracts every visitor. Many who come here for the first time assume that Suriname is a place solely of forests and swamps, where crocodiles and jaguars are permanent residents, and where nature reigns supreme. However, the reality is much more diverse and astonishing. Urgen is famous for its ecosystems, where the rarest species of plants and animals coexist harmoniously. Here, one can observe bright parrots fluttering over the tropical forests, or see local fishermen catching fish in the crystal-clear rivers washing the shores of this country. All this is not just picturesque scenes, but part of real life, where nature and culture merge into one, creating a unique way of life. The fact is that despite its small size, only about 163,820 square kilometers, Urgen possesses a rich natural and cultural heritage that significantly exceeds its geographical boundaries. Compared to neighboring countries, whose sizes can often be imagined as large territories, this country seems like a tiny but bright precious gem, sparkling against the backdrop of the surrounding world. Visiting the capital, walking through its streets, one can feel the vibrant atmosphere where every corner is steeped in history and traditions. At every step, one can hear the sounds of conversations, be enveloped by the aromas of local dishes, and feel the warmth of the heartfelt residents who take pride in their country and its heritage. Speaking of cultural monuments, it is worth noting that the Surinamese carefully preserve their historical landmarks and architectural monuments that testify to their colonial past. All of this helps maintain a connection with the past and understand how the unique identity of this nation was formed. At the same time, the nature of this region amazes with its extraordinary beauty and richness. It should not be thought that there are only tropical forests and marshlands here. In reality, Urgen boasts diverse ecosystems that combine the rarest species of flora and fauna, creating ecological diversity that is astonishing for such a tiny state. Many wonder how such a small country can influence global environmental issues, given its area is just over 160,000 square kilometers, which seems insignificant to many. However, despite this, Urgen demonstrates how even such a compact state can play an important role in nature conservation and combating environmental challenges. The Surinamese government is actively engaged in developing and implementing programs aimed at preserving natural resources and ensuring the sustainable development of the country. These initiatives play a crucial role in making the state one of the most environmentally friendly and harmonious corners of the world, where nature and humans coexist in harmony. Despite its small size, Suriname holds a special place on the world map due to its unique ecological situation. This country does not exceed a population of 600,000 people, which is a very small figure for such a vast territory. Unlike large cities where population density reaches sky-high levels and streets are crowded with people, the situation in Suriname is radically different. Imagine, about 90% of the land is covered with dense tropical forests that stretch over a vast area and create an impenetrable green wall, separating humans from nature. And these are not just words. These forests truly exist, and within them, one can see living, breathing life. They seem to be able to breathe, grow, and develop on their own, creating a unique natural backdrop where people find shelter from the scorching sun and urban hustle. In such conditions, where nature holds a dominant position, even the most avid city dwellers begin to think that life can be different, calm, measured, and filled with harmony. The population of the country is significantly different from the residents of metropolises, where everyone is rushing about their business, not noticing the surrounding world. In Suriname, people seem to have returned to the past, where not only material values were important, but also communication, traditions, and the simple joys of everyday life. Here, there is a special atmosphere of harmony with nature, and this is not just pretty words. It is the reality in which the locals live. They know how to use the gifts of the forest, gather edible plants, and catch fish in the clear rivers, whose bottoms are visible to the naked eye. These rivers are so clean that it seems as if nature created them specifically for people to enjoy their riches. However, despite this, the people of Suriname are not immune to external influences. Globalization penetrates here too. Like a dark cat sneaking into the shadows, it tries to take away everything unique and valuable. It is very interesting to observe how the locals strive to preserve their traditions, not allowing modern changes to completely destroy their way of life. Therefore, if you are looking for a place to disconnect from civilization and fully immerse yourself in the atmosphere of real life, Suriname is exactly such a corner where nature and people live in an amazing symbiosis. The locals take pride in their culture, passing down knowledge and skills from generation to generation to preserve the unique heritage of their country. In this regard, things are quite simple in Suriname. The official language is Dutch, which may seem unusual since the country is located in South America. Yes, indeed. In the distant past, this land was a colony of the Netherlands, and this historical connection is still felt today. The locals continue to speak Dutch, and this is no coincidence. You can often hear a conversation suddenly switch to Dutch, reminding of the colonial past and cultural ties with Europe. For many, this becomes a true cultural heritage that still influences the lifestyle and mentality of the people. Imagine, in South America, among the tropics and dense forests, there is a country where a European language is spoken, and a European mentality lives in the soul. Dutch here is not just a means of communication, but a symbol of the historical past that continues to live in the present. At the same time, many locals, especially the youth, enjoy using the Creole language, which sounds very bright and unusual. It seems to have gathered all the languages of the world, mixing them into a cheerful and noisy song. Nevertheless, the Dutch language continues to hold an important place in the cultural life of the country. It is perceived as part of the national identity and a symbol of resilience in the face of historical challenges. Therefore, if you decide to visit Suriname, be prepared for the fact that this is not just an expression of deep respect for historical heritage. In a much broader sense, it is part of the unique identity of the people who, despite all the changes and challenges of time, continue to hold firmly to their roots, traditions, and cultural features. In this context, Surinamese culture stands as a vivid testament to the fact that the country, despite its small size, possesses a rich and multifaceted heritage. The very word Suriname is not just the name of a small country located on the northeastern coast of South America, but a symbol of a vibrant and diverse linguistic palette reflecting the country's layered history and ethnic diversity. There is a vast array of dialects and languages here, each part of the rich cultural heritage of the various ethnic groups inhabiting this territory. Imagine, within one country, home to just over 600,000 people, you can hear not only the official language, Dutch, but also Sranantongo, Creole, English, Hindi, Javanese, and even Chinese. And all this in one place, on one territory. Yes, you are not mistaken. This small country offers a linguistic diversity that seems incredible for such a small area. You might imagine it as visiting a cozy cafe where, instead of a usual menu, you are offered an entire linguistic buffet. There, you might be served dishes based on different cultures and languages, allowing each guest to choose something to their taste. For example, Suranan Tongo is a language whose sound resembles a lively and colorful party, where representatives of various cultures gather, each with their own history and traditions. This language is not just a means of communication but a true ethos, a blend reflecting the country's history. It is like a mirror showing the eras of colonial conquests, migration flows, and the mixing of peoples. The English language also holds an important place here because a significant portion of the population are descendants of migrants from English-speaking countries who came here in search of a new life. Hindi and Javanese are the legacy of Indian and Indonesian migration waves that made Suriname their home. And the Chinese language became part of this cultural mix thanks to the influx of Chinese settlers who brought their culture, traditions, and language here. The result is a unique country where each language is like a separate tool or knife, holding an entire history, a worldview, and a special cultural code. Do not be surprised if you hear locals freely switching from one language to another on the streets, as if it were the most ordinary musical ringtone or rhythmic background of their daily life. This is not just exoticism, but a true reflection of the diversity and richness of cultures that makes Surinamese society particularly attractive to travelers and curious tourists. If you are lucky enough to find yourself in this country, be prepared for numerous linguistic surprises and discoveries. The locals are very proud of their linguistic heritage and are happy to share their knowledge of their languages and traditions, demonstrating their cultural identity. When it comes to the diversity of cultures and peoples of Surinamese land, it is not just a collection of ethnic groups, but a true mosaic, where each piece is a separate story, tradition, and flavor, adding a special richness to life. Here live Indians, Creoles, Indonesians, Africans, Chinese, and indigenous peoples, each bringing their traditions, unique dishes, and rich heritage to the overall picture. Meeting a local Creole who easily switches to Hindi or English, you realize that behind this lies centuries of cultural interweaving, which has given rise to a unique language and way of life. The Indians brought not only their languages to the land, but also culinary features. Curry samosas have become part of the everyday menu, and they have added their special spices and sauces to traditional dishes, turning street food into a real culinary adventure. And what about the Africans? At first glance, Suriname is just a place on the map, marked by a conditional line or point that helps to navigate in space. However, if you look deeper, this point turns into a real cultural experiment, a living laboratory, where different ethnic groups coexist in harmony, creating a unique atmosphere filled with rich heritage and diversity. Here, each ethnic community lives in symbiosis with others, showing that diversity is not only attractive externally, but also plays an important role in the development of society, in its cultural and social life. In this place, as if at a large family dinner, everyone brings their dish, their tradition, language, customs, and arts, enriching the common cultural feast. This cultural diversity of Suriname is manifested in all aspects of life, in music and dance, in painting and literature. Everywhere you feel the unique color. Here, as in a kaleidoscope, various styles and directions intertwine, creating a unique synthesis that cannot be reproduced anywhere else. If you want to truly feel the spirit of this unique region, it is enough to listen to how people communicate with each other and allow yourself to immerse in the local atmosphere. In this living world, sincerity and warmth resonate, and every conversation is a small discovery. The capital of Suriname, the city of Paramaribo, is not just an administrative center. It is a living testament to history, deservedly listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yes, indeed. This city became famous precisely because of its outstanding colonial Dutch architecture, which, despite the passing centuries, has been preserved in such a state that it seems to have come to our days straight from an old fairy tale or a painting of the Renaissance era. Walking through the streets of Paramaribo, you inevitably start to notice that not only cultures, but also eras have intertwined here, as if different timelines have converged in one place. On one side of the street, you can see neat Dutch houses with bright facades, each window seemingly smiling at passers-by, inviting them to peek inside. Nearby, elements of local culture slip into the architectural landscape. Carved balconies, floral brackets, and unusual ornaments that seem to enliven the surrounding space and give it a special charm. This city is a unique synthesis of past and present, where every stone, every street tells its own story. Paramaribo is not just a city with beautiful architecture. It is a city where the past and modernity harmoniously intertwine, creating a special atmosphere capable of touching the heart of any visitor. Here, every street, every house is not just a building but a living monument, telling how colonization and local traditions found their place under the sun in a unified cultural space. For example, the Cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul, built entirely of wood, seems as if it was created not by professional craftsmen, but by magicians capable of bringing fairy tale ideas to life. In Paramaribo, you can also visit the market where locals sell exotic fruits, bright spices, and aromatic herbs. This market is not just a place for shopping, but the true heart of the city, where life bustles, where the voices of vendors mix with scents, creating a special atmosphere of warmth and hospitality. Here, it feels like the city is not only its architecture or streets, but also the living, breathing life that fills every corner. If you want to see how different cultures can coexist and enrich each other, Paramaribo is the place to stop and experience this unique phenomenon. And if you think this is just another tourist route, you are greatly mistaken. In every corner of this city, you can feel the breath of history, and a walk through its streets turns into a real journey, a cultural odyssey that leaves an unforgettable mark on the soul. Architectural monuments of Para. Despite all modern changes and the pursuit of innovation, many people still find pleasure in simply strolling through the streets, where cars slowly make their way past majestic colonial-era buildings. In the distance, the noise of markets can be heard. There, trade is bustling, and vendors with lively enthusiasm offer a variety of exotic goods. This colorful setting is reminiscent of a situation where a bit of pineapple is added to your favorite salad. At first glance, it may seem strange, even unusual, but ultimately, such a combination creates something entirely unique and harmonious. And so, finding yourself in the city of Paramaribo, you suddenly begin to understand that here, not only architecture and culture are woven into a bright kaleidoscope, but the rules of the road also undergo this unusual blending. Therefore, if you decide to take a stroll through these streets, be prepared for the local rules and customs to differ noticeably from what you're used to. At the same time, it must be noted that the roads in Suriname are distinguished by their picturesque nature. They wind through dense jungles, climb mountain slopes, creating stunning natural landscapes. Just think, more than 90% of this country's territory is covered by dense forests. This is not just dry numbers or statistics. It is a testament to the fact that before you lies a true green fortress, where nature feels at home, not like a garden at your grandmother's. If you are looking for a place where ecology is not a trendy word or a beautiful slogan but a reality, then Suriname might be your ideal choice. This country ranks among the world's leaders in terms of preserving natural resources and ecological balance. And this is not just an advertising slogan, but a confirmation that here you can encounter the rarest species of animals and plants, which amaze even experienced biologists. The forests of this country are filled with life, pulsing in every leaf and every movement. You can see jaguars, capuchins, giant water lilies, and tropical orchids. All of this creates the feeling that you are in a vast, open-air natural museum. This wealth of biodiversity is not only a valuable heritage of the country, but also an important object of international significance, requiring careful and respectful treatment. The most amazing thing here is that the locals, despite all the temptations of the modern world, strive to preserve this natural harmony. Of course, there are those among them who seek to profit from rare resources, but most understand that natural wealth is something more valuable than short-term profit. It can be said that nature in Suriname is like a tough nut to crack. It seems easy to break from the outside, but inside it hides true treasures. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you might see a white caiman, a rare and very impressive creature, or even a toucan, this mysterious animal, as if it came to us from another planet. Therefore, if you dream of immersing yourself in the atmosphere of pristine nature, to feel part of a wild and free environment, Suriname is exactly the place where this is possible. Here, nature is not just a backdrop, but the main character, attracting attention with its unique beauty and power, like a star shining in the sky. The government of this country recognizes its responsibility to preserve its unique natural wealth and takes active measures to protect rare species of animals and plants so that future generations can enjoy this natural heritage. Let's not forget that products like coffee and sugar are not just everyday beverages and foods, but historical heroes of Suriname's colonial era. In those times, when the local population was not yet influenced by globalization, real battles for profit and survival flared up on the plantations. Imagine vast fields where slaves labored, extracting everything possible from the land to satisfy the growing demand for sweet sugar and invigorating coffee worldwide. This sweet romance, associated with seemingly pleasant and cozy things, like a cup of hot coffee or a spoonful of sugar, eventually turns into a bitter, sometimes very harsh truth. Behind every sip of the aromatic drink or drop of sweetness lies a whole story of struggle, suffering, and relentless effort. And although today we can calmly enjoy this magnificent coffee with milk, consider the price we paid for this opportunity. Each cup of coffee is not just a drink, it is an entire era filled with contradictions, conflicts, and relentless battles for the right to quench thirst and taste pleasure. Therefore, the next time you bring a hot cup to your lips, try to remember its true nature, the long and complex history behind this seemingly simple ritual. It is not just a drink. It is a reminder of how far humanity has come, what has been traversed on the path of development, and what lessons are yet to be learned. This entire history is about the struggle for resources, the right to survive, and personal dignity. And every sip of coffee is a small reminder of how dearly we pay for the comfort of modern existence, and how important it is to appreciate this gift, understanding its roots and values. The historical heritage of the country of Suriname is firmly reflected in the richness of its culture and traditions, which have been formed over centuries and embody the unique spirit of the people, their resilience, and ability to live in harmony with nature and history. In this context, gold, which is especially valued in Suriname, is not just a precious metal or luxury. It is a symbol of power, influence, and often a source of corrupt schemes. Gold in this country shines so brightly that it seems to overshadow everything around, eclipsing even the most critical issues the state faces. Look at the past. Once fortune seekers, driven by the dream of wealth, ventured into the endless jungles, hoping to find gold veins capable of changing their fate. And these searches, despite the centuries that have passed, have not lost their relevance. Today, gold mining has become the most important industry in the country's economy, without which it cannot exist. This resource brings enormous money, but along with it comes a whole heap of problems: environmental disasters, the destruction of natural landscapes, social conflicts, and disagreements. Large companies engaged in gold mining often behave like predatory sharks, not hesitating to destroy the environment for their own benefit. Their activities leave behind devastated lands, desolate villages, and abandoned settlements where life once thrived. Local residents often find themselves sidelined in this gold rush, watching as their native lands turn into wastelands, while the profits fill the pockets of outsiders, detached from their hardships. Is this not unjust? Certainly it is. But who cares? For many, The main thing is that gold continues to shine, generate profit, and consolidate power. Meanwhile, as we admire the beauty of gold jewelry and the wealth it symbolizes, it's important to remember that behind every gram of this metal lies suffering, loss, and inequality, often overlooked. Gold is not only a symbol of wealth and success, it is also proof of how quickly apparent stability can collapse if its allure conceals the roots of distortion and injustice. A look at Surinamese gold is a kind of mirror, reflecting not only the state of the economy, but also the essence of human relationships, their complexity and contradictions. The government of Suriname is taking active steps to regulate the gold mining industry, striving to protect the rights of local residents and preserve the environment. However, despite these efforts, the problem remains acute and requires constant attention. Another place worthy of attention is an architectural marvel that amazes with its scale and uniqueness. If every person involved in construction knew in advance that their creation would last for centuries, that it would stand and please the eyes of future generations, then undoubtedly they might not close their eyes in the night silence, tirelessly thinking about how to ensure its durability and preserve its pristine appearance. For the thought that the structure you created would remain forever could so captivate the imagination that the night hours would lose their usual bustle. However, it is remarkable that despite all the complexities, difficulties, and even dangers faced by builders, this cathedral, erected centuries ago, has not only survived to this day, but has truly become a symbol of the city, its historical and cultural center. Inside this unique space lies a true wonder, spacious and majestic. It impresses with its scale and architectural harmony. Every detail, from the stained glass windows imbued with vibrant colors and craftsmanship of artisans, to the icons, tells of a rich heritage passed down from generation to generation. This temple is not just a place for religious rites. It has become a living part of the lives of the people around it. Life bustles around this wooden masterpiece. Regular services are held here, and local residents gather to discuss the latest news, share joys and concerns, exchange opinions. It is no wonder they say that a church is not only a sacred place for prayer and spiritual cleansing, but also a center of community life, the heart of the community, where new ideas are born and old traditions are strengthened. Therefore, when you find yourself in the city of Paramaribo, be sure to take the time to visit this temple. It is not just another church. It is a living testament to the soul of the country, where every nail, every log holds its own story of resilience, faith, and love for its craft. Let's move on to a more unusual aspect of this city, which is a true enigma and paradox. In Paramaribo, despite the apparent disunity and division, you can witness the unique proximity of two religious sites, a mosque and a synagogue, located literally just a few steps from each other. These are not just architectural monuments but living symbols of harmony, respect, and coexistence. Their presence challenges the common stereotype of religious confrontation in the modern world. The mosque, with its graceful domes and tall minarets, seems to whisper about peace and tranquility in people's hearts, while the synagogue, with its strict lines and slightly asymmetrical forms, speaks of unwavering traditions and steadfast faith. Their location is not just a coincidence. It is a bold reminder to all that, despite differences, people can live side by side, respecting and valuing each other's religious beliefs. In this country, where culture and religion often emphasize their distinctiveness, Paramaribo demonstrates that coexistence and mutual respect are realities that can not only be achieved, but celebrated. Standing before these two majestic structures, it is impossible not to think how wonderful it is that religion does not become a cause of conflict, but rather unites people, bringing them closer together. It is reminiscent of a situation where two longtime friends, who constantly argue about whether football or basketball is better, suddenly find common ground and decide to play together. The unique proximity of the mosque and synagogue in this city is a vivid example of tolerance, mutual respect, and friendliness. Many have not heard of such a thing, but it is living proof that even in the face of disagreements, it is possible to find common ground. If you find yourself in this area, be sure to take the opportunity to visit both of these sacred places to understand that friendship and mutual respect between different cultures are not just a dream, but a fully achievable reality. This is the true power of human communication and tolerance. Let's not forget about the local cuisine, which is a true gastronomic symphony in itself. If you ever encounter words like pom-pom, casserole, and taro, be prepared for a real gastronomic explosion that can evoke delight and leave an unforgettable impression. These dishes, like a skillfully prepared cocktail filled with bright and rich flavors, will make your taste buds dance and flutter with pleasure. And, of course, we cannot overlook sauda soup. This Indonesian chicken soup is not just a warming dish, but true comfort for the soul, capable of soothing any worries and fatigue, much like a hot bath, after a long, busy workday. Sauda soup is not just food. It's a story contained in every sip, a culinary journey that transports you to a distant and diverse culture, allowing you to experience the richness and multifaceted nature of folk traditions gathered around one table. It is here, at this table, that the true diversity of the world is revealed, and each dish becomes part of a shared celebration of life, filled with meaning and beauty. Therefore, when you find yourself in this corner of the world, be prepared not only to admire its natural beauty, but also to immerse yourself in a true gastronomic feast that will offer you new sensations and open your eyes to the richness of the local cuisine. Do not miss the chance to try these dishes, for they may become the very discovery that completely transforms your understanding of the culture of this unique region. The culinary traditions of Suriname are not just a collection of recipes or festivals. They are a living reflection of the rich diversity of cultures living here side by side. These traditions hold a special place in the national identity, serving as a crucial element that unites different ethnicities and faiths. When it comes to celebrations in Suriname, we are presented not just with a calendar of events. We are shown a rich mosaic of cultural and religious traditions, each with its unique color and special significance. Imagine, in the same country, several great festivities coexist and are celebrated: Christmas and Easter, Diwali, and Eid al-Fitr. And all of this is not just dates on a calendar, but living manifestations of cultural identity. It's a kind of mosaic, where each celebration resonates in its own way, creating an unparalleled palette of events and experiences. For example, Christmas here is celebrated with the same vibrancy as in any Catholic country. Streets are adorned with bright lights, houses are lit with garlands, and warmth and joy burn in people's hearts. People gather together, sing songs, and have lively dances, as if all worries and anxieties are left behind, giving way to a bright and festive mood. And Diwali, the festival of lights, turns the streets into true spectacular displays, where glowing lamps and candles create a sense of magic, and families gather to light these candles, share sweets, and enjoy warm-hearted gatherings. Equally important is the celebration of Eid al-Fitr, a time when Surinamese Muslims come together to celebrate the end of the holy month of Ramadan. These festivities are filled with joy, generosity, and a special spirit of unity. On this day, tables are laden with a variety of exquisite dishes that could be showcased in the windows of the world's finest restaurants, as culinary masterpieces prepared according to traditional recipes are highly valued here. Each of these holidays is not just a tradition but a profound symbol of connection with the history, culture, and spiritual values of the people. All these colorful and vibrant celebrations form a unique cultural palette, where each element speaks to the importance of preserving one's roots and recognizing diversity. In this rich cocktail of festivities, one can feel how crucial it is to maintain and respect one's traditions, even if you live in a country where numerous cultures and religions intertwine. Holding joint celebrations that unite different communities helps strengthen friendship and mutual understanding. People seem to live in harmony, not only with each other but also with the surrounding nature. There is something special here that is hard to find in other countries, especially those where everyday life is often full of stress and conflicts. Yes, Suriname is not perfect, And of course, there are challenges, as in any country. But when you observe the locals, their smiles and friendly interactions, it becomes clear. There is an atmosphere of calm and inner balance here, where there is no place for hatred and aggression. This is a true illustration of how one can live in peace, respecting each other and the surrounding nature. Here's one vivid example. In the capital city, Paramaribo, when the sun slowly dips toward the horizon, the streets fill with a special color. Music plays, laughter rings out, and the aroma of local dishes made from fresh ingredients wafts through the air. People gather in parks and markets, where everyone feels like part of a large living organism, united by a common culture and goodwill. No one is in a hurry, as time spent together, exchanging smiles and kind words, is valued here. Such a peaceful atmosphere prevailing in Suriname attracts tourists from all over the world, and its impact is felt even by those who come here briefly, just to get a glimpse of local life. Every time we talk about peace and safety, thoughts of the importance of feeling secure come to mind. And comparing Suriname with other South American countries, where danger can be encountered at every turn, it becomes clear. Here, in this country, one can walk peacefully under the night sky, without fear of being followed or threatened. This is not a utopia. It's a reality, where genuine care for the safety of every citizen and guest is felt. It's amazing how Surinamese people find joy and satisfaction in the simplest things, showing that even with a complex history and various challenges, it is possible to build a society based on peace and trust. The locals are friendly, open people, always ready to help and share their knowledge about the country, its traditions and culture. Their ability to unite diverse ethnic groups and traditions is a true victory, a testament to their spirit and wisdom. In this context, the country's stability seems not accidental, but the result of their efforts and unity. Suriname is not just picturesque images of jungles and colonial houses scattered along the riverbanks. It is an amazing symbiosis of contrasts, where nature and culture coexist, intertwine, and create a unique pattern. Imagine strolling through the streets of Paramaribo, admiring the splendor of Dutch buildings that have retained their charm and architectural elegance, and just a few minutes later, immersing yourself in the rhythms of Caribbean music, feeling the vibrancy of carnival costumes and sensing the energy of the celebration. This is not just a random combination. It is a harmonious fusion of cultures, turning the city into a true symphony, where each instrument plays its unique part. Such a wealth of cultural traditions and their harmonious interaction makes Suriname truly unique and unparalleled. And what struck me the most? In this country, where representatives of dozens of ethnic groups live, there is an amazing sense of unity and mutual respect. People live like one big family, creating a special feeling of calm and reliability. The locals know how to find joy in the simplest and most everyday moments. Whether it's an evening market, where bright colors and the aroma of spices fill the air, or a friendly chat with neighbors, filled with warmth and genuine involvement. This contrast between diversity and harmony is not a source of conflict, but a foundation for creating something new, amazing, and inspiring. So if you are looking for a place to escape the daily hustle, enjoy true harmony, and feel